Hello, Chris Moss here. I'm in the south of France. I'm in Montpellier. Lying ahead of me is a wonderful day, I hope, in the hills above this fine city on this new Suzuki V-Strom 800 RE. It's the road version. RE stands for Road Explorer. It's different, though based and very closely related to the V-Strom 800 DE, the Dual Explorer, which I tested at the beginning of the year. That's got a more off-road sort of capability. This one's focused more for on-road use. They suggest that it's able to do a bit of green laning. I'm not so sure. The main focus of this bike is to perform better on-road. This one, as you can see, has got cast wheels, 19-inch front. It's got a bigger screen. The seat height is 30 millimeters lower. It's got shorter travel suspension. It's 70 mil shorter. It weighs 7 kilos lighter. It's got different brakes, slightly different electronics. There's no gravel mode and you can't switch the rear ABS off. It's got a quick shifter as standard. It's a grand cheaper than the DE at £9,699. Same engine, 776 parallel twin with a 270-degree firing order, which I love. And I will mention that I'm not hoping to like this bike too much because I've got a V-Strom 800 DE long-termer that I love. Done 6,500 miles on it, but I suspect this one might be a bit better suited to the road. The proof of the pudding, as they say, is in the riding, so let me go and do some stuff and then tell you some stuff. This engine is absolutely brilliant. Its pulling power is so impressive. I absolutely love it. It might be great to ride in the sun in the south of France, but the V-Strom will also do a good job at doing all the less glamorous riding too. It's super versatile and very comfy. The brakes are another impressive feature of the RE. They're quite a lot stronger than the DEs and let you ride more safely at greater speeds. The new RE has tubeless tyres, which I can assure you are a lot easier to sort when you get a puncture. So, was the new 800 RE, not religious education by the way, Road Explorer, was that any good, do you think? I certainly think so. We did about 100 odd miles today on some pretty testing terrain, a lot of hairpin bends, roads that had the lot really. Spent a bit of time bolt upright, you know, just sort of checking out how comfortable it might be on a motorway. Do you know what? I was impressed by it, but part of me is disappointed. I'll come to the disappointment in due course. In fact, I'll come to it now. I prefer this bike over my DE version. The most pronounced thing about the bike is the front end. Because it's got a 19-inch wheel now, it just steers more quickly, more precisely, and there's just better feedback. I think if I tried to ride it at the same speed on my DE, that course we were on today, probably would have had problems just with confidence. I don't think it would have washed out or gone, but this feels a bit more bolted. This bike is reputed to be 7 kilos lighter. I think that I didn't notice that much weight reduction. What really impressed me was just the extra agility that the smaller front wheel size gave. The engine is as good as ever. Really is a special mode of power, this, I'll tell you. Just love the fact that it just pulls so strongly regardless of RPM or gear choice. You know, you want to go fast, you accelerate. You know, I've done 6,500 miles on my DE on every ride, even if it's like 200 odd miles long or 2 miles long. At some point I have made a mental note, if not a verbal one, about how impressed I am with the engine. The other good thing about this bike for me at least, is the lower seat height. You know, today when we were parking up on funny cambers, it really helped. It's just an altogether easier bike to master. The riding position, I think I would have to jump from DE to RE back to back a few times to really appreciate how different it is. In theory, loading the front a bit more by being a bit further over it didn't bother me so much. Another plus point is the big screen. On the DE, it's a bit bigger than a postage stamp. From a protection point of view, it's not very good at all. On this, though I couldn't ride on the dual carriageways with my visor up, I certainly felt a lot more protected, and I would be if it got, you know, if it started to rain. It's got more long distance potential, I think, without causing the sort of fatigue that you possibly could have to bear on a DE. Brakes, different league. Strangely, though the DE's spec of just a 2-piston sliding caliper sort of impresses me at home compared to these brakes. These are 4-piston radial calipers. These really are quite strong. I mean, in short, this is a sportier, more comfortable, and just a bike that you can use, more people can use for more purposes, I think. Suzuki are saying you can still use it off-road. I don't think it's going to be quite as good as the DE, obviously, because it doesn't have the long travel suspension. It's 70mm shorter, but it still performs pretty damned well. Didn't really have any problems with it. Tyres surprised me. It is pretty warm, and we were on grippy surfaces, but I didn't have a single moment, despite the fact I asked for it on occasion. Dragged the footrests a few times. They're actually higher and further back, yet maybe because I just felt a bit more confident on it, I leaned it over a bit more. Hardly a problem. Seat is of a slightly different density, and I think the shape is slightly different, but like the DE, feels super comfortable. The difference with the electronics, no rear ABS option and no gravel option, didn't matter today at all. I want to ride this home. I do not want to take a plane. I'm just a bit disappointed because I like this more than my DE. The chaps at Suzuki said if I'm a good boy I might be able to get one of these, but I can't get it until the next year. I'm not going to be disappointed during that time with my DE, but I'll be longing to get on this for sure. Not a wow bike, but a bike that gave me and the rest of us today a very good time. Hard to knock.